Filing to become an S Corp doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start paying workers' comp insurance. My name is Paul Vasquez with Tax Lab, and you need to become an ethical millionaire. Now, there are a lot of things that happen when you choose to upgrade to become an S Corp. Number one, you've got to put yourself on payroll and pay yourself what they call a reasonable wage or salary. It can be reasonable for the region that you're in, for the amount of money that you're bringing in as a company, and for the type of industry that you're in. So there's lots of kind of factors that go into what is reasonable, but it's, you kind of smell it when you see it. You see it when you know it when you see it. But you don't have to put workers' comp insurance on yourself. You don't have to do that. Now, you do probably have to pay unemployment insurance on yourself. And prior to the pandemic, the only way you could have gotten unemployment was to fire yourself for cause, or without cause, right? Yeah. So very hard to do. So it's nearly impossible to collect unemployment on yourself prior to the pandemic. But if a pandemic were to happen again, there's probably a good chance that the states have kind of tweaked their rules to allow you to begin to collect that unemployment on yourself, given pandemic rules, whatever those might be. But that's still different from workers' comp insurance. Now, some business owners think that when they file that S Corp, that's when they have to start possibly paying the workers' compensation insurance. But that's not the case. It doesn't matter if you're a sole proprietorship, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp. That doesn't matter. What matters is the number of employees and subcontractors that you have. So if you're just running out there and you don't want to put these workers in as employees, if they're subcontractors and there's two or more of them, it doesn't matter if they're an employee or a subcontractor for workers' comp. If they're being assigned work that you would normally do and you're all living in that same, it's going to be governed by probably the rules of the state that the business is in, and there may be reciprocity, there may be this or that depending on what state the work is being done and where the workers live. That's kind of like, going beyond the scope of where I'm trying to get to with this. But the S Corp status does not change your issues. What happens a lot of times is that your business is doing well, and that's why you're changing over to an S Corp. And you probably have, when your business is doing well, you probably have either employees or contractors who you begin to sub-work out to on a regular basis. And if that's the case, it's even okay if they have double coverage, right? If they're already, if they have coverage on their employees, that doesn't matter. So you really need to look into the rules of the state that you're in to make sure that what you're doing applies to the state rules. But it has nothing to do with whether or not you signed up to be an S Corp. You could be self-employed status, you could be LLC. That doesn't matter. What matters is this workers and employee type of thing. And usually they just happen to often coincide, because when you're getting that big, you're like, hey, it might be smart for me to find someone else to do some of these other tasks so we can keep growing and keep producing and keep helping more people. So it has a lot more to do with growth, and sometimes they coincide. So really nothing to do with the S Corp. Once again, it kind of can look that way because they often coincide. So it is a correlation, not causation, right? An S Corp status doesn't cause your to have to get into workers' comp. It's just correlated probably around the same time that you're looking into that anyways. Yeah, 2 or more, either employees or a combination of employees or contractors. So that's the way it rolls. Now, if you need help with the bookkeeping and keeping things straight, you need to have really a hiring pack or a contractor packet. So your contractor packet should include things like the W-9, the I-9, the 8-Ben. So there's lots of different forms that you should really be considering in a packet when you're hiring a contractor or an employee, and have them fill out that paperwork so you can be on the up and up and not pay more taxes than you need to. Some people, they don't like giving out those 1099s on their subcontractors because it makes their contractors actually have more of a reason to report because it's already been reported on them. It's not just up to their honesty at that point. There's been something else. However, what's the alternative? The alternative is either you lie on your tax return and now you could be in big trouble, or you don't claim those as expenses to write off, which is still kind of, being deceitful about it. But that means if you're not taking the write-off, the income that it was going to write off is now taxable. So you're paying their taxes. It's so nice of you. So nice of you to pay their taxes. You're such a nice guy. Or just make sure they have an S corp. And there's lots of legal ways around different things, but you want to do it the right and legal way. You've got enough problems to deal with as a business owner. You've got enough things on your plate. Let's do things the smart way, do things the right way, create systems. And then you can work the systems, refine the systems, and that's going to help you succeed a lot more in business and in finance than just being slick. It's better to have good systems that run things for you than everything always dependent on your backroom deals or whatever it is you might be doing. Go out there, do your research, apply the rules. If you need help, lab.tax, click on advisory services, and I wish you guys all the success.